1,000 Lulby sisters, Chris calls out, Amy's awkward mingling skills, at her art show. The small-town art gallery buzzed with an energy that felt both exciting and slightly chaotic, very much like the Slayton family themselves. It was a night that meant everything to 1,000 Lulby sisters fans, but more importantly, it meant everything to Amy Slayton. For the first time in what felt like forever, Amy wasn't just being seen as the funny sister or the one with the wild stories. Tonight, she was the artist, the creator, the host, and, unfortunately, also the most awkward mingler in the room. Amy stood near the entrance of the gallery, shifting her weight from one foot to the other. Her dress, bright, bold, and unapologetically Amy, perfectly matched the colorful chaos of her paintings lining the walls. Okay, just say hi, she whispered to herself, clutching a plastic cup of punch like it was her emotional support item. People were arriving steadily. Locals, fans, curious visitors, and even a few who clearly had no idea who she was but liked free events. Amy smiled, then immediately looked away. Hey, thanks for coming, she blurted at one couple, before turning her body halfway toward a painting like she suddenly needed to inspect it. The couple nodded politely, then exchanged a confused glance. Across the room, leaning casually against the snack table, Chris Combs watched everything unfold. And he was trying, really trying, not to laugh. Chris notices. Everything Chris popped a cheese cube into his mouth, eyes locked on Amy as she attempted to greet another guest. Hey, you like colors? Amy asked a man standing in front of one of her abstract pieces. The man blinked. Yes? Amy nodded too aggressively. Yeah, me too. That's why I used them. She gave a thumbs up, then walked away. Chris nearly choked. Oh, Lord, he muttered, shaking his head. She ain't mingling. She's surviving. Beside him, Tammy Slatton raised an eyebrow. What she do now? Chris gestured subtly. Watch this. The awkward parade continues. Amy approached a group of 3 women who were clearly fans. Hi, Amy, we love you, one of them squealed. Amy froze. This was her moment, her fans, her event. She opened her mouth. Thank you for existing, she said. The women paused. Amy panicked. No, not like that. Thanks for coming to this place where I am. She pointed to the ground. Chris slapped his forehead. Tammy snorted. Girl, Tammy whispered under her breath. What is she doing? After watching Amy bounce between awkward interactions like a pinball, Chris finally decided to intervene. Not gently. Never gently. He walked over, hands in his pockets, a smirk already forming. Amy, he said loud enough for nearby guests to hear, you hosting an art show or auditioning for Most Awkward Person Alive? Amy's eyes widened. Chris? What? He shrugged. I'm just saying, you greeting folks like you got a glitch. A few guests chuckled. Amy groaned. I am not that bad. Chris leaned closer. You told a man, thanks for existing. Amy covered her face. I panicked. The sibling dynamic shines. That's the thing about the Slayton family. No matter how big the moment, they never stop being themselves. Tammy rolled her wheelchair closer, grinning. You gotta act normal, Amy. I am actin' normal, Amy protested. Chris raised an eyebrow. Since when is that normal? Amy shot him a look. You ain't helpin'. I ain't trying to help, Chris said. I'm trying to save your guests. Chris crossed his arms and looked around the room. All right, he said. Watch and learn. He walked up to a random guest. Hey there, Chris said smoothly. You enjoying the show? The guest nodded. Yeah, it's really unique. See? Chris gestured back at Amy. She painted all this, took her time, put her heart into it. Amy blinked. That actually sounded good. Chris returned, shrugging. Boom. Easy. Amy stared at him. You just made me sound, fancy. Chris grinned. You welcome. Determined not to let her big night be remembered for all the wrong reasons, Amy took a deep breath. Okay, she said. I got this. She approached another group. Hi, I'm Amy, she began. Good start. Thank you for coming to my art show. Better. I really put my feelings into these pieces. Wow, growth. Then, and also some glitter. Chris groaned from across the room, but the group laughed. And this time, it worked. As the night went on, something shifted. Amy relaxed. She laughed more. She stopped overthinking every word. Instead of trying to perform, she just talked. And people loved it. One guest told her, "Your personality makes the art even better." Amy beamed. Chris noticed too. "Look at her," he said to Tammy. She finally acted like herself. Tammy nodded. Took her long enough. Near the end of the night, Chris gathered everyone's attention. All right, y'all, he said. Before we wrap this up, I gotta say something. Amy froze. Oh no, she whispered. Chris pointed at her. This one right here, he said. She might be the worst mingler I ever seen in my life. The room erupted in laughter. Amy buried her face in her hands. But, Chris continued, raising a finger, she got heart, and she put that heart into every piece in this room. The laughter softened into applause. Amy looked up, eyes shining. Chris nodded at her. I'm proud of you, sis. Amy stepped forward, still a little shy, but no longer hiding. Okay, yeah, I'm awkward, she admitted, smiling. More laughter. But this means a lot to me, and y'all being here means even more. She glanced at her paintings. I never thought I'd do something like this. Chris muttered. We didn't either. Amy elbowed him. But here I am, she continued. And yeah, I might say weird stuff sometimes. Sometimes, Chris whispered. But it's real, Amy finished. And that's what mattered. As the gallery slowly emptied, Amy leaned against the wall, exhausted but happy. Chris walked over. You survived, he said. Amy smirked. Barely. He nodded toward the paintings. You did good. She looked around the room. Yeah, she said softly. I think I did. Chris grinned. Next time, we work on the Mingling part. Amy laughed. One step at a time, Chris. Amy's art show wasn't perfect. It wasn't polished. And it definitely wasn't smooth. But it was real. And sometimes that's better than perfect. Because in true 1000 LB Sisters fashion, it wasn't just about the art. It was about growth, family, and learning to laugh at yourself along the way. Thank you for watching. Write what you think about it. Subscribe to the channel.